Hi, my name is Anika Robbins, creator of Anika International Cosmetics. I've been doing makeup for over 15 years, and I found that all women really want is just to look and feel their personal best. What we're going to do today is show you how to achieve the same results as a professional makeup artist by choosing the right products and the right tools to achieve those results. Okay, we're going to get started in showing you how to apply perfect foundation. As you know, beautiful makeup begins with flawless skin, and flawless skin begins with flawless foundation. What you want to do is make sure that you're selecting the right shade for your client and your client's complexion, their skin tone, and making sure that it's the right texture and consistency for them. So today my model, Lisa, is a very beautiful lady. She's got very nice even skin, but what we're going to do is what I call priming her complexion and evening out some things. Now, it is not unusual for people to have dark circles under their eyes and often on their eyelids and in the corners of their eyes. And we're going to make sure that her skin tone and everything is even and flawless. So follow along as we get started. What we're going to do is what I call spot treating the client's complexion first. It is not unusual for most people to have kind of dark circles under their eyes and also on their eyelids and in the inner corners of their eyes. And also, of course, life happens, so sometimes there's different blemishes that you want to make sure that you get those covered up as well. And then you can continue on with your overall foundation completion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on with a shade lighter, and I want to emphasize that. I know typically in the past, it's been common for makeup artists and other professionals to recommend that you use a very, very light shade of concealer. And what you don't want is to create a raccoon eye effect. You want everything to be seamless and flawless. And so the recommended shade is that you go with a color that is just a shade lighter than the client's actual complexion. So I'm going to go in with a color that is just a little bit lighter than Lisa's actual complexion, and then we're going to go around in the perimeter of her face with her actual shade, and then we're going to make sure that everything is blended to have a nice finished, flawless look. And I actually love using my fingers to apply makeup, especially foundation, because what I found is that the skin on skin contact helps to really even out and smooth the product, and it also helps to break it down because the warmth in my skin, my fingers, coupled with the warmth in her complexion and in her skin, it just helps the makeup to glide on better and it blends much smoother. And you want to be very careful when you're working around the client's eyes. Obviously, the skin around the eyes is the most sensitive and it's the most fragile. And it's also where women begin to show their beginning signs of aging. And let me also note that it's very important that whenever you begin any makeup consultation or application, that you begin with clean, moisturized skin, which obviously we've done that with Lisa. And you notice that my strokes are very brisk. We're not really pulling or dragging on her skin. You want to be mindful of the fact that when you're working on someone's face, you're in their personal space. So you want to be very kind of mindful, respectful. You don't want to tug on them too much. And every once in a while you want to check in with them to make sure that what you're doing is not too harsh, too rough. And again, it's really important that you're able to get right into those corners of the eyes, because oftentimes, like I said, we often just focus on the under eye area of the face. But it is not uncommon to have darkness right in here, right in these corners. And I have to tell you that really, your pinky finger is probably the best tool of choice when working in these inner corners. So we're just going to blend that out, and then she did have a few blemishes right around her upper cheekbone and her upper temple area, so we're just going to blend that out. And notice how, again, the movement is very brisk. It's light and firm enough to where you're actually putting the product on, but you're not applying too much pressure where you're also wiping it off. because that would defeat the purpose. And then also you want to work on the bridge of her nose and around the corners of her nose. And then we also like to go on the chin area. This also acts as like a highlighting effect. And typically when you highlight, we highlight the forehead, the nose, the peak of the nose, and the chin, and of course the upper part of the cheekbones. Let me make sure we get this part of her eye very quickly. And now, Lisa, I'm going to have you open your eyes and look straight up to the ceiling. And what that does is it helps us to get right up under that lash line. When you're doing this priming or applying your concealer or your foundation, you want to make sure that you're getting as close up under the eyelash line as possible, because you want your makeup to have a finished, flawless look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the actual color that complements her complexion the best, and we're going to go around the perimeter of her face. And I have to tell you, this is kind of a makeup artist trick as well, to use two different shades. It is not uncommon for everyone to be a little bit darker around the perimeter and lighter in the sockets of the eyes, the cheekbones, the chin, the nose, and the forehead. And so we're just going to go around the entire perimeter of her face. And at first it's going to appear very interesting. And so your initial goal is just to make sure that you get the color on. You want to make sure that everything is well blended into the jawline and the hairline, because what you don't want is that infamous line of demarcation. So we're just going to go all around the perimeter of her face. And if you're actually using a foundation tube like we're using, you could actually apply directly from the tube in quick strokes, especially if you're applying on yourself, or if you're a makeup artist and you're in a show setting or you're in a client consultation setting. Obviously, being aware of your time is very important, and making sure that your hands are clean and moisturized. You go in with your fingers, especially your fingertips, and you blend the product in. And I always work in a brisk downward motion, over and out. And like I said, we want to make sure that we blend this into her hairline, her jawline, and then up here we want to make sure that we're really blending the two shades. Okay? We don't really want it to be obvious that she has two different shades of foundation on. What we want is nice, even, highlighted, flawless skin. And when you get to the bridge of the nose, I usually like to use the fourth fingers and go right down the bridge of the nose to blend everything and just kind of create that contoured look. It's not so severe, it's not so harsh. And then we're kind of slowly, gradually blending everything together. And especially when you get to the jawline, making sure that you blend it all the way down. And then you also want to revisit the eye area. And then I'm going to have Lisa open her eyes to look up again. And we want to make sure that we blend that area out as well. And then you just make sure everything is blended out into her neckline, her jawline. And now, it is not uncommon also that maybe the neck is a little bit lighter than the rest of her face. And the reason being is that the face is often the most exposed to sunlight, and the neck, because it's receded backward, further back, it's not as exposed to the sunlight. So it is not uncommon for the neck to be a little lighter. And so oftentimes you might blend your foundation all the way down into your décolleté area, your shoulder blades and whatnot, to make sure that everything is blended. But for the most part, you are just fine just by making sure that you blend it from the jawline down under the neck, by the ears, like so. And there you have it. Now we're gonna apply a little bit of powder to kind of set everything, reduce a little bit of shine, but the really heavily powdered look is not in right now, at least not today. But we really just want very fresh, dewy skin. We want the look now is to be very fresh and natural looking and not to look overly made up. So we're just gonna lightly dust Lisa with a little bit of powder, using a powder brush, and we're just gonna go also in a downward motion around her hairline, down the bridge of her nose, and around the perimeter of her face. And you notice that I'm avoiding her eye area. And that's because oftentimes if you put too much powder on the eyes, it tends to age the client, and it also kind of dries the eyes out. And you want to kind of leave some dewiness, leave that freshness there so that it looks moist and healthy and natural. And then again, with the powder, feel free to blend all the way down into the neck to ensure a flawless, even application. Now, one thing to note is, if you want a more intense matte finish, which is totally fine, then you might want to switch out using from a powder brush and switch to using a sponge. A sponge application is going to give you a little more coverage, a lot more drier, more matte finish. But if you just want a nice, soft, natural finish, a nice natural bristle brush with, nice soft hairs is really going to give you a nice, beautiful, light feathered look. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Anika Robbins, creator of Anika International Cosmetics. When I decided to create this cosmetics line a few years ago, it was important to me to create a line that issued a personal invitation to all women, reminding them of how beautiful they are and how powerful we are. Often in media, images are portrayed that make us feel less than or unworthy, or that we have to aspire to a certain ideal of beauty. With our products, we want women to feel that they too are beautiful, they too are powerful, and to embrace and celebrate their own personal gifts. In this series of makeup tips, we're going to be showing you step-by-step tips, tools, and products that will empower you to achieve the same results as a professional makeup artist. We're very pleased that you're joining us, and we hope that you enjoy everything that we're offering to you because it's coming from our heart. For more information on our products, our mission, and how you can become involved, visit us online at www.anikainternational.com. Don't go anywhere.